you can look forward to today and every day. Find out how in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. We've all said it. Hey, I'm looking forward to that. Are you coming to the baseball game today? I'm looking forward to it. Are you going to eat the pot roast at lunch? I'm looking forward to it. The check is in the mail. I'm looking forward to it. The phrase, I'm looking forward to it, expresses hopeful optimism, but also describes a plan to take action, to do something, to show up with a fork in hand to eat that pot roast. Peter concludes a paragraph about the coming of the Lord, repeating a phrase that he used earlier in verse 12 and adding what it is that we as believers look forward to. It's a call to action. Here's what he says in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 13. But according to his promise, we are waiting for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. Peter gives two reasons we look forward to heaven as believers: the promise of Christ and the expectation of heaven. Jesus made numerous promises to his followers, many of them related to the sure promise of heaven. Jesus calls for us to focus our lives on real treasure, not on the stuff that this earth offers that's only going to fade away. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 20, Jesus says, "But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal." Jesus promised that our home in heaven was absolutely secure in him. Luke chapter 10, verse 20, Jesus says, "However, do not rejoice that the spirits submit to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven." Jesus promised that he makes room for all of those who will believe in him. John 14:2, Jesus said, "In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you." Jesus promised the thief on the cross that he would see heaven because of his faith in him. Luke 23, verse 43, Jesus answered him, "I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise." Jesus' promise is absolutely secure. We can live our life today based upon what he has promised. In fact, what he has promised changes everything. And that was Peter's point. The people of his day faced tremendous persecution and hardship, but they could still look forward. The promise of Christ was greater than anything they faced currently or anything they would ever have to face. We have that same promise, and what Jesus has promised is extraordinary. The glimpses of heaven that are provided for us in the scripture literally take your breath away. Heaven is eternal. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 1 describes heaven this way. "Now we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands." Heaven is made by God. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 10 says, "For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God." All those who believe in Jesus will be in heaven praising him. Revelation chapter 7 verse 9 says, "After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and in front of the Lamb. They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hand." Heaven will be a place where there's no more sin, no more sickness, no more death. It's the place where God is. Revelation 21 verses 1 through 4 describe heaven this way. "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." The sure promise of heaven should change our perspective on everything, including our perspective on how we look at today. Because Jesus has secured our tomorrow, we can live for him right now. And now, you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from his word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.